All right, there we go. Well, welcome one and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel and to Mental Health Thursdays, the completely unqualified, totally non-professional, no qualifications having episode where Junk Shop facilitates hanging out, swapping tips and tricks, venting, and just generally commiserating one with another about the state of our mental health. Sometimes we have a topic. Today is one of those days. Thank you all so much for joining me. I see the live chat is hopping. A lot of folks over here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Linda, for bringing your crew over with you. So many of y'all, I can't hardly take the time to run through and greet everybody individually, but you are all individually welcome. Thank you so much for joining me as always. Before we get started, I got to change my banner here. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. This show is brought to you by the fantastic people whose names you see scrolling across the bottom of your screen. These are the folks who support me over on Patreon and who have allowed us to upgrade our equipment. Well, who in conjunction with an anonymous supporter who wishes to remain that way, allowed us to upgrade our equipment to the capabilities we have today. Thank you one, thank you all, thank you so very, very much. Literally could not be doing what we're doing, certainly couldn't be doing it as often or as well as we're doing it without y'all. In alphabetical order, those folks, well, alphabetical order. Those folks are the Atheist Pastor, Aunt Jer, B, Bill, Brainbug, Espresso Cat, Gary, Ilya Moon, Kim, the Lavender Lady, Linda, the Lone Wanderer, M, Microraptor, Mama Atheist, Nikki, Ox, Paul Camish, Rain, Robert X, and Santi the Same. Y'all keeping us afloat right now, and I truly can't thank you enough. All right, let's see. Do we have announcements before we launch into our topic today? We've got coming up tomorrow, we've got our next episode. I gotta scoot back a little. I've got this banner just cropping me right under the chin here, and it looks weird. Tomorrow, we've got our next episode of Improv Bible Study at this same time, 3 p.m. Eastern. We are working our way through the book of Isaiah. And one and all y'all watching this live and or in replay are more than welcome to join us over there as we dive into the King James Bible from a modern atheist humanist lens, not particularly respectfully and not in a particularly safe for family fashion. You have been warned. We've got our patron-only streams on the weekend. Those of y'all who are members of the Junk Shop Library Patreon family, or who become members of the Junk Shop Library Patreon family between now and 12:30 Eastern Saturday morning, I think is when it's scheduled for, can join us for our whatever happens on Saturday stream. And then we've got the exploration of the Catholic Catechism at noon Eastern on Sunday. We've got over on my wife's channel, which I'm sure Amiga Nuts will be ready to drop in the chat just probably before I finish my sentence. we have our next installment, much belated and much awaited, of the as yet unnamed couples stream. And yes, that's the title of it. Tonight. I don't remember at what time. Way too late for some of y'all, I suspect. But some of y'all, I hope to see you over there on the Wine and Reason channel when we will be talking about some topic as yet unknown to me. Thank you, my friend. Amiga Nuts has the links. There was something I was going to tell y'all or ask y'all or bounce off of y'all or something, and I will be absolutely damned if I remember what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. All right. So I guess we'll launch right into our topic today. Yeah, Lone Wanderer, I saw your post about that. Yeah, Hulu has some problems. Yeah. So sorry about that. My topic today is not original to me. It was inspired the other day, as any of y'all who read the show notes, which I know is nobody because I don't read show notes, I'll tell you that much. But if you look down below the video, you'll see a channel linked in the show notes from a British fella who publishes under the name Brian's BPD Journey. He's a mental health awareness and activism channel from across the big pond, as we say down here. And after a hiatus, has recently returned to YouTube with a video, the name of which I am completely blanking on. But it was something like the fear of getting better. And it was very open and honest video. It was a little hard to watch at times. Brian is at times painfully honest, and his content is not an easy consume sometimes, but he talks a lot about his mental health journey, and he's very relatable individual. But I fell to thinking while I was watching, and the video's linked down there below, and I did check actually that the links worked this time before we went live, so I know that it's actually a live link. Old Junk Shop actually getting on top of things and knowing what they're doing. What hath God wrought? But I got to thinking about the topic of the fear of getting better. Good God. Lone Wanderer, what's the name of this movie so I know what to avoid, if you don't mind sharing? I don't even have Hulu, but there's some, anybody who has Hulu, apparently there's, just sort of heads up Lone Wanderers given to us. Jesus. Blink, 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 blink. Where was it? Oh, fear of getting better. Our topic for today. I should really write this stuff down. And I should do something about this lighting, because my goodness, I thought I had glare before I shaved my head clean. My stars and liver. Okay, moving right along. This is something I had thought of before before I saw Brian's video, but I just I hadn't really drummed up the courage really to talk about it here on the channel. And I'm not sure I've talked about it in person, to be perfectly honest. So this may be new. Okay, good to know, Lone. Thank you. File that away. Um, this may be new for all of y'all. Coming up on 3 years ago, as most y'all know, I think I lost my job. The store I worked in closed down, and the circumstances surrounding that are not particularly interesting. None of it's my fault, and it was just one of those things that happens when you work in the wonderful world of retail. One of the things that freed me up to do, in addition to build my channel and my little community here, which I have enjoyed just altogether no end, was focus a little on what I came to understand was my much neglected mental health. It's easy to neglect your mental health when you're working, 45, 50 hours a week. It's even easier when you're working closer to 80, which I was for a while there when I was trying to juggle 3 jobs at once, which I don't recommend if there's any way to avoid it. I understand there's not always a way to avoid it, and there was not a way to avoid it for me at the time when I was doing it. I'm just saying, I don't really recommend it. But it was very easy to let the self-care and the mental health awareness sort of slide off to the side and stew on the back burner. But after being unemployed for a while, I came to the understanding that I was assisted to the understanding by some very dear people in my life that I couldn't really put off taking care of my brain anymore. So I got into therapy, and I talked to a couple of doctors and got on some medication. Started on the medication roller coaster that I think we've spoken of here on the channel before, and now finally on a regimen that seems to work for me. Hey y'all, coming in latecomers. Hey Purple, how are you doing? Paul Camish, my first patron, how are you doing today, my friend? And then I just kind of plateaued. I didn't take any. Oh, sorry to hear that. Crunchy. I don't believe I've seen you around here before, or if I have, it was under a different name, or I'm just losing my mind and forgot. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your time with us here today. Yes, as Mark Caesar points out, unemployment, very boring and dehumanizing. And demoralizing as well. But as I said, I kind of plateaued. I found a medication regimen that more or less worked. I found a schedule that more or less worked. I found some hobbies that more or less worked. I found some interpersonal relationship tactics that more or less worked. And I kind of stagnated. Plateaued is not even really the right word for it. I kind of stagnated. And it sort of bubbled up in my brain, not as long ago as it should have done, that that one of the things that was keeping me stagnant was my fear of change. as some of y'all know, and some of y'all better than others, I am not good with change. I don't deal with it well. I don't like it, and I strive to avoid it if at all possible. Even change for the better. Is it bad if you like being unemployed? No. If you like it, that's fantastic. Any state of being that is not actively detrimental to you, your health, your relationships, or those around you is, and that you enjoy, I'm in favor. And then, back in spring, as we all know, the world became a much scarier place. And we're still working under the weight of the pandemic and the pandemic restrictions and all the ways in which that has forced us all to change our lives, our ways of life, our ways of interacting with those around us. And sorry, I got distracted there for a second. Yes, and Mark is entirely right. Unemployment is a negative circle. It just kind of spirals around on itself. Your skill sets get out of date. It's harder to get back into work. People start asking you, what have you been doing all this time? And you're like, motherfucker, I've been looking for work. Have you seen the state of this economy? But it's easier to, speaking only for myself here, okay? I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. I've found that this is not an easy thing to admit, so y'all bear with me while I hem and haw a little. And yes, Triple C in the chat is right. It does affect your physical health as well. Besides the fact of I don't know where you are, but here in the southern United States where I am, it can fuck with your ability to get, pardon my French, but welcome to the channel. It can fuck with your ability to maintain your insurance, which can fuck with your ability to stay on your medication, which can fuck with your ability to do all manner of stuff. It's just coffee. It's cold coffee. Yeah, but it's just coffee. It's easier to deal with some bad crap in your life, I have found, in a very non-functional and maladaptive way, if you can put off the blame and thus the responsibility on something else. And I've come to the understanding that, as I said earlier, not as long ago as it should have occurred to me, I've come to the understanding that one of the things I tend to push off some of the responsibility for everything onto, I'm not going to try to diagram that sentence, and I don't stand by its grammar, but I stand by the sense, is my mental health. And that makes it easy to not want to improve, just subconsciously. Because if you fucked up enough where you can't get anything done, then it's okay to not get anything done. And it is, for me at least, with my particular constellation of mental issues and circumstances, that it's very easy to just sort of spiral down and collapse into myself and stay there. And that's not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for my quality of life. It's not good for my interpersonal relationships. It's not good for anything. As our new friend Triple C in the chat here says, it messes with your motivation. And you're exactly right. And I've recently realized, again, not so long ago as I should have done, that there's only so long, and that time has long since come and gone, that I can put off being kind of a generally crap human on having kind of a generally crap brain. I got to get off my butt, y'all. I got to do stuff. Hard to do in the midst of a global pandemic that makes the most responsible and constructive thing to do to stay in the house. It's a weird combination of circumstances. And it leads one to want to do, as Doc Fearsome in the chat says, I'll stop procrastinating, but I'll do it tomorrow. Because getting better is change. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't do good with the change. I don't like it. I have trouble adjusting to it. And I try to avoid it. And that's not good. It's not good at all. Because it's only through change that we grow. Because growth is definitionally change. Oh, thank you, Purple. I appreciate that. In some ways, it is. In some ways, it's like having a small army of methed up caterpillars running rampant on a hamster wheel all the time. Good music and dance can help. They can, yeah. Something we've mentioned before here on the channel, but that's always worth revisiting is the y'all, what's it called? How are y'all supposed to know? Y'all can't read my mind. Be thankful for that. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. The CBT technique that they call opposite to emotion activity, which is kind of what they're talking about here in the chat. Good music and dance can help. I'm sorry. What are your pronouns? He, she, they, other. Just let me know, and it'll help me a little bit. I don't know you yet. You know, even something as minor as just getting up and walking around the house a couple of times, or going and washing out a coffee cup. Or, you know, you can go out and run a half marathon. You know, whatever you're inclined to do, capable of doing. I myself cannot do the latter. My knees have taken a lot of abuse over the years, and they're nowhere near as young as the rest of me. But even if it's, you know, even if it's just getting up and doing the dishes, or running a load down to the laundromat or whatever, just something to get yourself going. Now that's if you're down in the dumps. If you're, y'all, pardon me, my allergies do not take a break, and my nose itches. Ay, ay, ay. If you're blue, if you're down in the dumps, if you're depressed, which is a language I speak fluently, as some of y'all know. On the other hand, if you're manic and wacky and all over the damn place, sometimes it can be helpful to just sit. Make yourself sit. Do some breathing exercises. Just lower things down. But that's not easy. Neither of those extremes is easy. And working towards getting better is just, it doesn't come natural. To me, at least. And then there's that nagging fear that if you get better, and this is really what prompted this video, because Brian, whose video I referenced earlier and linked below, raised this exact point in his video a couple of days ago. Hey, Wild Eden, welcome. Hadn't seen you around here before. Thank you for coming. The fear is, for me at least, I can speak only for myself, that if I get better, how much more is going to be demanded of me, expected of me, wanted of me? And what does that look like? And how do I deal with that? And I don't know the answer to any of those questions. Which leads us to the chat. I want to talk to y'all, and I want y'all to talk to each other and back to me. Not that y'all need any encouragement along those lines. Yeah, several folks are pointing out that the sedentary life is while it is perhaps more natural, as Microraptor points out, at least natural from an evolutionary standpoint, to not expend more energy than we have to. You can, it's not constructive. It's not good. Does any of this resonate with y'all at all? Anybody who has, who deals with any wackiness upstairs? Maintaining healthy boundaries can help, points out. Hi, Fran Wilson. Sorry, I didn't see you sneak in there. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Not to let yourself be overrun by the demands, the requests. At one level, you got to take care of you. And maintenance you. And at one level, it doesn't greatly matter what that looks like, because you can't buttress anybody else if you're not structurally sound yourself. I'm coming to the understanding I may have leaned a little too heavily on that particular concept or axiom. But it is true. Can't help somebody along. Okay, you got me. Microraptor says, you weren't paying attention to chat? So you mean I behaved myself for no reason? Yep, you got me. You may be. You can check that. You can check off that checkbox today. Oh, we're all in the bath with Paul. Okay. Paul says, I'm in the bath. It makes me relaxed. I myself do not find baths relaxing, but a nice long shower calms me down no end. It really does. We got a bath and tea person and a shower and coffee person. Some things we ain't never going to come to an understanding of. Cheers. And Fran's got a good point. Just because you are getting better, I'm going to pull that up on the screen real quick. Whoop, I'm going to try to. There we go. Just because you are getting better does not mean you have to do everything others may demand of you. And that's a good point. I'm sorry about this constant swiveling in the swivel chair, y'all. I'm trying to be more conscious of it and not do it quite so much. But some of y'all have been with me long enough to know that that's a bit of an uphill battle. Let's see. I try to use OCD to my advantage when I can realize it can be a good or bad. Yeah. I myself do not have OCD, but I've known some folks who have done, and it's it can be almost like a superpower, and it can be almost crippling, and sometimes it can be both for the same exact person. That's an interesting. I don't want to say malady, because that sounds just, it has some gravitas to it, but makes it sound like petrifying. But yeah. Oh dear, Purple says, I like baths, but my apartment does not have a tub. Oh no, we've come to the I'm sorry, somebody asked about Julie, where the we've come to realize our bandwidth is not always up to streaming out and streaming in at the same time, so she can't always be in the chat watching while I'm streaming. So it's an interesting weirdness. Ooh, and combine it with religious beliefs, and I don't know your background or your story, but I have, yeah, religious beliefs and mental illness do not always pair well. Not exactly the nice Cabernet and the medium rare steak of existence. And of course, at one level, this is kind of a weird topic because there's only so much lower my camera resolution. I'll have to try that. I'm not going to sit here and try to troubleshoot on stream because that's just beyond tedious watching me do that. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot. Wow, I can't stay focused today, can I? Y'all give me something in the chat because I just went completely damn blank. Buddhist practice. Okay. You know, I've heard, I don't really know much about Buddhism, secular or otherwise. I don't know which variant you practice, but that I have heard that before, particularly with regard to things like meditation, that has enormously helped a lot of people. I have trouble with meditation. I can't imagine that y'all can tell, but I'm been known to be a little scattered and have trouble wrangling my head under control. No, Purple, don't ever apologize for helpful suggestions. You've been around me long enough to know I fight with the technology. The tech gremlins are not my friend. What are some of the coping skills that we're using? Asks Fran. We talked a little bit. Yeah, we talked a little while ago about opposite to emotion activity in CBT. Um, Somebody was talking about DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy. Yes, MathPig had Speed of Sound of Gravity on last night, talking about his Buddhist practice. Unconditional love for oneself, compassion, and acceptance. That, honestly, that sounds like an incredibly high bar to me, but I know folks who have come to that sort of self-acceptance, and I applaud them. Fran Wilson says journaling. Yes, I have found journaling immensely helpful over the years when I can make myself sit down and do it. I'm not always good. I'm very rarely good, if I'm just going to be honest with y'all, which is what I strive for here on the stream. Hey, For No Reason, welcome. Hang on, let me scroll back up a second. Maybe I'll prompt my brain. I know what were we? Oh, journaling. Yeah, I'm not great with the journaling. I enjoy it, and I find it immensely helpful, among other things, just as a grounding technique. I just have trouble remembering to make myself do it. I got to remember to do that more often. I've got, like most persons of a writerly bent, I have notebooks upon notebooks upon notebooks. Some of them I've actually even cracked open and started to use. But I hadn't been back to my journal in a while. Need to start doing that again. Grounding techniques. There's a nice little springboard there to something else I wanted to talk about. If any of y'all are much like me, first of all, I'm so sorry. But second of all, y'all know how you can sort of, it can be hard to stay grounded. I myself, and I've talked about this here before on the channel, but I struggle with generalized anxiety, social anxiety, panic attacks, major depression, and an interesting little eating disorder. It can be hard to stay put in my brain. My brain is not the biggest fan of me. And I'm not the biggest fan of my brain. And sometimes the two of us, we don't always get along. And it can be very easy to sort of wander off into the stratosphere or down into the depths of, hey, brain bug, good to see you. How are those roaches settling into their new home? It can be hard to settle and stay put and be aware of oneself and of things. And there are all kinds of grounding techniques out there, you know, everything from breathing exercises to drawing a clock to journaling to, you know, there's all, you know, looking around the room and counting 5 red things, 5 orange things, 5 yellow things, working your way down the rainbow, things of this nature. Had somebody recommend to me one that I've never really been able to get to take, but that I've heard people swear by, many people from a wide variety of walks of life over a long period of time. I don't know why it doesn't work for me. But you go around and you notice 5 things, phenomena, what have you, for each sense. So 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can smell, 5 things, so on and so forth. Hey, it's my wonderful wife. Hey, Julie, how are you doing? Just let me know what the bandwidth. The bandwidth. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. I can't do it, y'all. Just let me know what the picture quality looks like, if you wouldn't mind. Coloring books, yes, some people do. I've got a coloring book. I've been intending to start in moments of stress for I don't know how long. It's another one of those things that I think would be immensely helpful to me. I just got to get around fucking doing it. Art therapy, says GeoSam. Hey, GeoSam. Art therapy, yes. I've had good luck with that. And I know a lot of folks who have done. For some folks, it doesn't work. And some people are so uncertain and unsure and insecure about their artistic talent that they let that get in the way. And I am 100% not speaking from experience there. I can't possibly imagine where I would have come across such a thing. Yes. Wow, y'all are talking. I love it. Oh, yes, Microraptor, I think it was, asked, do we have the couple stream later? Yes, we do, and it's at 7. I told y'all earlier I couldn't remember what time it was. It is at 7 Central. That's 8? Yes. 8 Eastern. Hope to see some of y'all there, but I know it's super late for some of y'all. Okay, well, y'all bounced a couple more thoughts my way. We're coming up on the 45-minute mark. I know we've had some folks come in really toward the end of the stream, but I don't like to run these much past the 45-minute mark. I feel I've kind of exhausted my talk. 6 Mountain Time. Okay, thank you, Fran. And midnight in Central Europe. Midnight in Central Europe. Sounds like a John le Carré novel. So yeah, I see. It's been lovely to see some of y'all new folks here, and some of y'all that I hadn't seen in a while. We do this every Thursday. We finally got. There was a time in the life of the channel when we could not nail down the mental health stream. We had it on Tuesdays, we had it on Wednesdays, we had it on Thursdays. We were still calling it Mental Health Thursdays for a while when it was on Tuesdays. We tried it on Monday once, and that didn't work. Mental Health Thursdays is what we call it now and what it is. And we congregate here at 3 p.m. Eastern for just this sort of real free-form, not real organized, not all that professional, and completely unqualified mental health positivity hangout with this one stated goal. It goes the other way. Like that. There we go. End the stigma. The goal here is to break the stigma surrounding mental illness, mental health treatment, and talking about it, about both of those things. So if you're new here, however you found us, I hope you stay and I hope you come back. And we do this every week, barring some extravagant circumstances beyond our control, such things as the Thanksgiving holiday. Although we did meet on Thanksgiving, didn't we, now that I think about it? Yes, Brain Bug, I am a little manic, aren't I? The desk is clean, so my brain is fried. I understand. I understand. Never again. That sounds familiar. All right. Well, I can feel myself starting to ramble and wander, so I think it's time to wrap up here today. I know I already said that once, but I mean it for sure this time. Thank y'all all for joining us. If you don't mind taking the 0.5 seconds it takes, click that thumbs up button as we wrap up here. And I hope to see y'all next week. Next week! What am I, 12? Where did that week come from? That was weird. All right. I never did figure out what it was that I was going to tell y'all, ask y'all, or bounce off of y'all right back at the beginning of the stream. No idea what it was. If it's important, it'll come to me. Maybe I'll remember it in time for the couple stream. Until we gather again, whether that's for Bible study or for catechism, destruction, or for mental health positivity hangouts on Thursdays. As we always say before we roll out of here, everybody take care, be safe, and stand against hate. And we'll see y'all again soon. Assuming I can find the end broadcast button. Oh, yes. Linda, thank you for reminding me. I had forgotten. Bye, y'all.